All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the whole podcast. I am your host, Rothy, of course, expert numerologist and accidental empath, and just all around numbers chick, right? So today I am excited to have some friends of mine, some really cool friends of mine. Actually, one of them is one of my longest running friends. We've known each other since 7th grade. We went to middle school together and have a lot of funny stories from I guess our more awkward phases in life. We served on the, what do you call it, like the school board or the school council. You were like VP or treasurer, something like that, or vice versa. We were one or the other. And I don't even know if we did anything that year, but I know that we won our races. So that's all that matters, right? Is that you won in the end. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and welcome my next guest, Danny and Tia LEAL. Woo! I don't have sound effects, guys, so just say hello. All right, so a little bit about my people here. The reason that I am super excited to have them on is because of not only the successes that they have, and we're going to talk about their business and what they do on a really, really major level, and then also kind of the background of that and their life story, their love story, and how it all came to be. As you all have been watching, we've been kind of in the algos in this podcast of the love stories, right? The crazy, like, fairy tale epic love stories. That's what we've been in, starting with the whole Jelly Roll Bunny XO thing to my girl Hoxie and Jay Nixon, and then now we have Danny and Tia LEAL. And the reason that I want to have and feature these types of stories and people is because I want us to get more normalized to the fact that these sort of things actually do happen. Those wonderful love stories, those like almost sometimes rags to riches, like with Jelly, it was the rags to riches type story. You know what I'm saying? So I really want people to see the true life stories about how people just work really hard. They manifest their dreams together. They pull their energies together as couples. And they, it's such a rare thing anymore to have that, to see that family unit. You know what I mean? Those strong couples that have those values, that are really working hard, and they can come from the whatever backgrounds. You know what I mean? And the biggest thing that I love is those stories where it's kind of one extreme to the other background, like Bunny's was and Jelly, because it just is a great testimonial for people who may be not in the best phases of their life, that they can see others and they can see, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it. I can manifest wonderful things in my life. So that is the whole reason that I wanted to have my friends Danny and Tia LEAL on today. Now, let's talk a little bit about their business. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up the floor to you guys. Tell me a little bit about, of course, CROSSROADS, and then how that came to be, what you guys do with that, and a little bit of what your vision is with that.
Go ahead, Danny.
We started off with, it was years ago, we bought our first French Bulldog. We both love dogs and animals. We bought our first French Bulldog. We were in Florida. We met some really good friends that were in the industry that were really into showing dogs, real strict on the standard French Bulldog. And
we homed him because he couldn't, it wasn't the standard of what we should have been breeding. So before we even bred, like, we just homed him, and then we bought our first 2 girls, and then we went from there. We started going to ABKC down there. I think 2 we just watched, and then we were like, we can do this. But then life happened and we moved, and then when 2020 we went to our first 420 show. It was a fun show, but we met everybody and it just kind of took off from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So breeding dogs and having kids.
You guys are fantastic at it. You're some of the best at it probably in the world, you know? And I love it. I love it. It's so cute. Obviously, I mean, probably one of the boy moms of the century right here, Tia. She looks like probably a teenager still herself, and she's like a wonder mom extraordinaire. If you see her posts on social media, it's like she helps run this massive, super successful, high level, and that's a great point that you point out. Me as a veterinary professional in my career and a rescue person, I've been against like backyard trash stuff, but when you have quality breeders, that is a big difference. You are helping to save the quality of good, healthy branded animals. You know what I'm saying? And so I know it's a controversial issue, especially in the rescue world, but I think that's another good reason to feature things like this, because it helps to get rid of that stigma. I have another great friend that does the big bullies out in California. Shout out to BGK. And same thing, top level quality. And when you're dealing with top quality breeders, you're going to get a healthy dog that is going to give you many years of joy and love and not have problems like the other stuff. So you always want to look for quality. Quality matters has been a tagline and only the top level type kennels that I've seen. So
not only do we just breed, but like we've had other breeders contact us and, hey, I have an issue with this dog. Do you think you can take it and fix it up, and then like you can keep it and breed it if you can't figure out the issue? Or, which we've done several times, we've taken dogs from other breeders, we've healed up the dog or got the dog better, and then found a forever home for them at no cost.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've recently just gave a puppy to a home. What is it called? It's a
not a convalescent home, but
it's like a home for elderly that they live there. And so I donated one of our Frenchie puppies to them. We're actually going to take the puppy probably this week for them. So
that's nice. Yeah, to have, just infusing quality of love of, God's creation into our communities in a lot of ways. And again, with the emphasis on quality on that. So that's big stuff right there. So I just wanted to point that out. So let's talk about a little bit about, if you guys want to. I love getting raw and real with it. You guys know me by now, so like feel free to get as raw and real with it as you want. I love your love story. You know what I mean? Like, I love the love story. So go ahead and explain in your words how things came together, how you guys met, all of that, however you want to go.
Yeah. I was in a rough time in my life. I just had my son, Princeton, and he was 3 months old. And Danny was going through a rough time in his life. And I used to be a stripper, dance, and then Danny came in and just to hang out one night, and I seen him and I was like, "You want to dance?" And he was like, "No, I'm good." And and then I was like, "You're trouble." And I rubbed his back and I walked away, and I went in the dressing room and I was like, "Gee, I got to get this guy somehow. Like, what is going on?" So then I went back and I sat with him and we talked. And then he ended up getting VIPs like 3 in a row that night, but I never danced for him. I didn't dance for him. I didn't get undressed. I just sat there and we talked about our kids and we talked about just each other a little bit. And then I asked him for Snapchat, and he was like, "I don't have Snapchat." So he gave me his number. And then I told my boss that night as I was leaving work, I was like, "I'm going to marry that man one day. Like, I don't know him, but I'm going to marry him." And 7 years later.
I love it. And that's my favorite part of the story that's that part of it. And that's that manifestation. And I know, Tia, you and I did your chart probably over a year ago or so. And there was a lot of manifestation, veins of that throughout your chart as well. So I know that you are, and I know Danny has called you certain things as well in reference to that. But I know you're a manifester, just like me, and you're an empath, and you're one of those. So I love that part of the story. And just like Bunny and all of that, like, some of my favorite people right now have been dancers and have been in that industry, and they are doing wonderful things. So I love that. I think that that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it shows also that not only the power of manifestation and believing in yourself, but that even in those times, you're where you're supposed to be.
We had a rough patch there. We dated, and then he tried to end things over text, and I didn't know his address or where he lived, but I jumped in the car with Princeton when he was a baby, and an hour drive. I mean, it seemed like 2 seconds to him, but I showed up, and I don't know how I got there, but it just I got there, and I was pounding on the door.
And I lived in the boonies.
And you what?
I lived in the boonies. Like, you wouldn't know how to get to it.
All I knew was the street, like, and I didn't know how to get there. I think I Google mapped the road name, but I didn't know like I took myself there.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's that right there. That sort of stuff. That's the magic in these things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the gold stuff right there. So Danny, I need to know from you now. And I mean, this is your longtime friend talking. Like, tell me about that. Like, what was that all about? Why did you want to try to break it off? And what about that said to you, she's fighting for me versus she's psycho?
I was scared. I was genuinely scared because she seemed fake, like everything about her, not fake in a bad way.
Like, too good to be true.
It was too good to be true. And then as the more we got to like each other and be around each other, as I was scared, and I was like, well, what if I fuck this up and then fuck her feelings up? And then I didn't know how to feel about it. And so I'd rather to back off before anything went in the wrong direction. And then she didn't let us.
Listen. You thought you was running it, but you wasn't running it. She was running it. I love it. That's so cute. But I think that's it's those sort of things that make it stand out, you know, and also kind of pull it together. Certain things in life are alignment, right? Now, Danny, I'm sure that you couldn't see your life without her. You know what I mean? You couldn't see your life. You wonder what it was before then. Like, how did I ever do this before her? You know, and it's that sort of fulfilling. I hate to sound cliche, but almost like the completion of each other. You know what I mean? And your story. And go ahead.
She how do you what's the word? She got me to she just put roots in the ground where I stepped instead of being all over the place, because I was all over the place. I was literally all over the place, all over the states. I was doing shit I wasn't supposed to be doing, and she put me in a better path.
Him too. He told me, you know, he's like, if I'm gonna see you, I don't want my lady to be for everybody, for to dance, you know. So
I love it.
I instantly stopped and
started having babies.
And I mean, I can't even, I wish you guys had like your own reality show, and you pretty much should. Your lives are that interesting. And I'm not just saying that as your friend, like, it's legit, like, so funny and entertaining to watch the shit that you guys be going through and doing. And I love all the success that it's just like a snowball with you guys. You're manifesting together. The two of you joining your forces together has manifested incredible things. And so that's another big part of why I wanted to feature you guys as a couple, because I see that on the outside, I've known, you know, as long as I've known Danny and all of that, like, I've seen a lot of it and I've watched it. So it's pretty impressive, to be honest with you. It's impressive, especially in this day and age with marriages and relationships and just the world and the crazy chaos, you know, chaotic, you know, phase that we're in right now. It's hard to do anything the right way. And you guys are not only doing it the right way and doing it on a major, major level, but you came from hard times. So it's that much more epic of a love story.
We still go through hard times, you know. We don't post or go through it with everybody like people want us to, but that wouldn't make us who we really are. It's okay for us to be ourselves and have our own life outside of social media. I think that's what makes him and I stronger too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think the important thing is that those things show as you guys becoming stronger, and the good stuff and the fun stuff that you post. Beautiful kids that are just healthy and happy and loved. Like I would loved your kids' upbringing, like your kids' childhood. I can't imagine a more amazing, loving, great upbringing than what you guys are doing. And our kids are so important. So just from me, like, thank you for doing that. You know what I mean? Thank you for having a lot of kids. Thank you for pouring your heart and soul into them. And they're the future. So we got to do that on a massive scale. You guys are doing a tremendous job of that. So
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your numbers and kind of tie all this together and how the numbers are really, reflecting everything that we talked about and more. So I'm going to go down. Let's go down Denny's first, right? So just the breakdown again for the audience and in case, Denny, I know, Tia, you've gone through this, but so we have our 5 chart numbers, right? We've got our life path and our birthday. Those come from the actual date of our birth. Then we have our expression, heart's desire, and personality number, and those come from the spelling of our names, okay? Your numbers can be one of 12 digits. That's it. Either one of the cardinals, 1 through 9, or one of the masters, 11, 22, and 33. And that's it. There's no other numbers in personal numerology aside from those 12. Okay? Now, your life path and birth date. Probably the most weightiest numbers, those are the ones that can't change because they come from your date of birth. That means you can't change your date of birth. So those are always going to be your numbers and the most weightiest, right? Your life path is your destination energy, whereas your birthday number is your journey energy, the parts of you that stay the same from birth until death, and they go into support that ultimate life path purpose energy, which may manifest more later on in life, right, as the destination number. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So Danny is a life path 7. And this is going to be interesting because I've known you each other as middle schoolers. So I'm going back to kids like we were this crazy, having fun, like almost teenagers, that sort of a thing, right? So there's going to be some interesting realizations for me in this. Danny is a life path 7. Now, as we've talked about in previous readings before, the 7 is one of the leaders, right? But it's probably the most silent leader. It is a brilliant leader, right? 7 is brilliance. It is super, super smart. It is the person that can see the detail orientation, those small little details, and they can see the big picture at the same time. Most of us can only see one thing. Danny can see both at the same time, right? Also very secretive. And it's not secrets for nefarious reasons. It's secrets for protection. Look at the shape of the 7. We've talked about shapes before in other videos. It's the most protective number, right? It's that hard wall, and then you've got the roof to it. So anything under that is going to be protected from both the side and the top, right? The most protective number. It is a very, just like the 1 and the 4, which are the other 2 leaders among the cardinals, it is a very rigid number. Look at the shapes of all 3 of those numbers, all hard lines. There's no circles or, anything to those 3 numbers. Whereas the rest of the numbers have whimsical rounds to them, right? So they're softer. The 1, the 4, and the 7 are the leaders. So they're going to be more rigid, right? More intolerant. I'm a 4 and a 1, so I'm the other side of it. So we have that intelligence, we have those secrets for protection, we have that strategy. Huge planners. 7s are huge planners. And they've got plans A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because they know inadvertently that life is about to throw some monkey wrenches into the mix, because that's just what life does. So they want to be prepared ahead of time for just in case. Prepper mindset in a way, but I don't want to go like all the way but a prepper mindset. I also know, Danny, you're ex-military, retired military, so let me take a moment to thank my brother for his sacrifice and his services to our nation and to protect us. I love you guys. So always want to thank our vets. But that also brings with it another level of protection, of hard protection, because of the things and experiences that a vet may go through during their time of service. So there's a lot of that right here, right? And it's going to continue to be that way. Now, the reason that I want to say this, and Tia, you already know you're a life pathway. We talked about that before. You're a 31-4, just like me. And so, but with this 4 and the 7, they get along very well. They're both leaders. But they're both leaders. And sometimes when you got 2 chiefs, it could be there's no Indians, like. And so, and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to go through that, because honestly, with some pairings, it's better to have that 2 chiefs than a chief and an Indian. It may be a better pairing in that way, right? You've got your full charts to mix and match and kind of blend together, right? So it's not necessarily a bad thing that maybe you sometimes get that contrast with each other. You both have very, very high standards for things, right? You're both not wanting to compromise on certain things. And yet look how long you have lasted as a couple, as a married couple, with 4 kids, 5 kids. Now, what do we have together?
4 together. 6 total.
See? Okay. So, and a super successful business that you started from the ground up. So, make no mistake about it. Doesn't matter the contrast, doesn't matter the challenges. Y'all are well befitting. Y'all are well put together, and your machine is well oiled and operating. Even if sometimes you got it's a strong machine, right? And it's going to continue to work on the kinks, even if sometimes they're like, it's going to still go. It's going to still go. You're both strong enough to push it through. Okay.
I think it's important to be able to realize it's okay to agree to disagree.
Yes, absolutely.
I was real hard on that. I used to be really hard on that. I said, no, we have to agree. We have to agree, no matter what. And it was more just me wanting my way. Now it's okay to say, okay, yeah, you don't like it. I understand.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I get it. And you evolve as a couple and you grow into each other. You know what I mean? You get to learn each other, and you go through learning lessons together, and each one is going to be like, okay, well, that sucked, and I definitely, we got to go forward in a different way, but I love you enough to see you through, and I love you enough to help you through, and here's some things that I learned, and I'm going to help teach you. You know what I mean? And it's a matter of like coming together with everybody has shortcomings. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. It's a matter of like finding those, completing each other in those ways, right? Where you're weak, he's strong, and vice versa type thing. And the well-oiled operating machine. And so that's absolutely right. And that's the oil in that, is that you compromise and that you learn each other and work it through, right? So now, another thing that really, really helps with this is the fact that Denny is a birthday 2, right? And so we've talked about the 2 before, and this is super cute to me because Tia is the mom, and she's such a mom energy anyways. Like, I'm sure that even with her friends hanging out, she's got that vibe of like taking care of nurturing everybody, But what's interesting is Danny's everyday energy. And again, I'm going back to us as kids, Danny. It's so funny to me to look back on you now, looking back on little Danny and being like, wow, this was that dude back then. Okay, so that's the 2. So there's something about you that is super, your everyday energy. It doesn't matter if you have it protected with that 7. When you get past the walls of you, you're a freaking marshmallow, bro. Like you're a fucking big teddy bear. Don't fucking come at me like that. I know you. I read you. You know what I mean? Like not that whole thing, but you are fucking love bug. And it's like the way you are, especially with like family and stuff and people who are family to you, you're going to do so right by them. You're going to like, if you probably maybe even like to cook. I don't know this about you, but you may like to cook. And then if you have like a party or something like that, you're going to have like, you're going to do the best by your guests, right? If you do gifts for somebody, you're going to get them nice shit. You're not going to like go, it's the top of the level or nothing. You're not going to do it half-ass. In other words, when it comes to showing love for those that you care about, like expenses, and you work your ass off to be able to do that and show your love in that way, right?
Yeah. So it means a lot to me when I give something to somebody.
Yeah. Your one of your love languages is gifting. And I'm a gifter too. I love that. I love to be creative with it and observant of what they really like. I want to blow their mind with a gift that they didn't even know that they wanted, but they love it so much when they get it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's just for all the men out there, if that's not one of your languages, it's not about the gifting at all. It's about the creativity and the thoughtfulness that goes into that. It doesn't have to be a very expensive thing at all. It could be just the super observant, I know this person loves this, so I'm going to be creative about it, right? Mm-hmm. And even sometimes a homemade free type gift, but with that sort of thought and love put into it, can be one of the most amazing gifts ever, right? So, but also with the two, you do have that thing of like, I want to give the best of the best. One way or another, I want to do the best. I want to show my love to this person, to these people, by nurturing them in this way and giving them. So yeah, very, very true. Now, Tia's birthday is the 4. And we talked about this before. The 4 is one of the leaders. This is the leader of the people. Now already, I mean, I see this in some of the posts and everything like that, but this is, I guess, maybe the confirmation of it for me, because yeah, I do see your social media. But yeah, this is why I see Tia in the show pictures, probably far more, because she's representing the brand. You both represent the brand, obviously, but she's out there forefront more than Danny is. She's showing the dogs more. She's out there doing the talks more. More of kind of the spokesperson for the brand in a way, right? More seen in a way, right? And this is, and also a big part of it is the structure of the business, because the 4 is the leader of the people and its organization and its management. So a lot of now we do have that 7 of your life path. So y'all both are running the business equally. And I think maybe a lot of the administrative type stuff might be with Tia. You know what I mean? Because that 4 is putting, look at the shape of it. It's putting things, the files in the right place, putting things in the right place, the scheduling and making sure this fits in with this type thing, right?
He hates scheduling. He gets so mad at me. I plan ahead of time. And like, I like if I know we have a show 3 months from now, I'm buying plane tickets and a stay. And he's like, why are you doing that right now? I'm like, because I can't do it 2 days before.
Right.
And it drives him crazy.
Right. Yeah. Which is so weird, because that's a 7 attribute specifically. But what may be happening with this is he would do it in his life if Tia wasn't there and this was a business that he was running. Yeah, he would do it, but he would hate it, right? So that's what it is. And he loves the fact that you do it, so he's going to let you do it. Even though he knows it's got to be done, he entrusts you with that as his business partner. So
it's because 99% of the time it conflicts with my scheduling.
Which you don't like, because you've got your plans and you want to keep them on.
Speaking of, what part of Texas are you in?
In Dallas.
Okay, so you're going to come and see us then. We're going to be there for the whole weekend in Dallas.
Yes.
February 23rd, 24th, and 25th. We are going to be there, and I think we leave the 26th.
This is the biggest dog show in the United States.
Yes, June Williams is the host, and that's his show. So
wow. Yes, absolutely.
And guess what? February 24th is our 4-year anniversary of marriage. We'll
Wow.
be there. So.
Perfect. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So yeah, we definitely got to do something. And you know, if you guys need any help with anything or, you know, whatever, you got my contact. You know, I'm here for it. And for
Yes.
sure to be a part of that. Absolutely for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's exciting. There's a lot of big stuff that be going on out here in Dallas. They do a lot of big stuff. So
Oh yeah, a lot of it.
yeah. Okay, cool. So we got February, got some stuff going on in February, and that'll be. And then there's the what's the other one? The Frenchie Wars.
Yes, March 30th.
And is that in that's in Detroit or where's that?
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Kalamazoo, Michigan. Okay. So y'all be like jet setting everywhere. It's like anytime I talk to Tia, it's like, okay, Danny's over here with the dog. We're going over here. We're traveling, constantly going. Is that like the life of you're going all the time?
If we want to make it in this world for the business that we're in, yes.
In the dog world, you have to. People want to see your dogs in person because Photoshop. People are really good at cameras and photoshopping and
they want to meet you in person too. If they're going to send you, I mean, we're not talking small amounts of money. I mean, $1,500 is a lot to some people, but we're talking some of the dogs we do is $20,000 to $60,000, and that's not.
Yeah. And people, cheap. You know, people want to actually meet the people that they're dealing with. You know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of people fuck up sales just because they don't know how to talk.
Yeah.
Or they don't know how to carry themselves.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand it, and that's why you guys are going all the time, because it's a consulting of a business deal, and also as quality breeders, I'm sure on the other side of things, y'all are wanting to make sure that you're connecting with people that you know are going to take care of your dogs.
Yes.
Yes, always a huge thing. So yeah, that definitely makes sense. Okay. So let's continue to go on. We're going to talk about now our expression, personality, and heart's desire numbers, okay? So our expression number is how we do things, how and why we do things based upon, of course, our numbers, but also environmental factors, influences, experiences, so on and so forth. Now, our personality number, I like to call it our perception number because it's how we're perceived by the world. It may not be how we are, but it's how people see us, right? And then lastly, we have our heart's desire number, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's what we want out of life, our soul urge, okay? And, all three of these come from the spelling of our names, all right? So with Danny's, actually, I'm going to start with Tia on this one. So we have once again, we have the 4. And this is, it's that reiteration. Now, this is a 13-4, right? As is her birthday number. I want to talk a little bit about this. And if you recall, Tia, and your personal consult that we had, we talked about the karmic 13, right? So your life path number, just like mine, is a 31-4, right? Which is different from a 22-4, a straight up 4, and a 13-4. Now, the 13-4, I always want to take a moment to kind of honor it a little bit, because with the 8, it does need a little bit more explanation. Because the 13-4 is karma. We are bringing forth karmic energies, and we are healing karmic cycles with this 4. So what this tells me is that because this is her birthday number as well as her expression number and how she does things, is there's a lot of there may be some manifestation of the karmic energies that are coming forward in the cycle. Now, this can be karma that is earned by us, and it could be karma from previous lifetimes. It could be somebody else's karma. It could be generational karma from our grandparents. It is not necessarily ours that we're responsible for as far as we did it and caused it, but we may be responsible for healing it, right? And transmuting it. And that's what these 4s are, right? So what Tia has done with her life thus far, and what this says right here, it doesn't matter. Again, that encounter when you guys met back then was fated, and you were supposed to be there, okay? So there's no like, no sort of looking down on anybody's life for what they had to do. Maybe God put you there, and obviously God put you there for that time. That is how you met your husband and your business partner, and you had how you manifested this amazing life. And that plus the hard work of the four and the organization and the planning and the execution of the four, along with the trust in his seven, in his brilliance, in his strategy, in his resources, in his protection. Big, big, big thing of protection. Okay.
Before we met at the strip club, we ran into each other one time, but we never talked. He was walking up the stairs, and I was walking down the stairs at Sky Zone, a jumping trampoline place. And it was like, we talked about this before. We felt like we were in like a bubble when we passed each other, and we looked at each other, and then it was weird because I thought about him after that, and he said the same thing. And then after we meeting at the club and us talking, he was like, "Oh my God, you were that girl at the trampoline place that day." And I was like, "Yeah." And and so like that was look at her.
We walked by each other, and literally like everything at that moment, everything slowed down. And we made eye contact,
and we were both
then
with
everything sped right back up into normal.
And we were both in a different relationships at that time too. Yeah.
I can't even, because like it's these things. It's these things that I want people to pay special attention to in life. Those little moments that slip your mind, that they come back later. That is energy talking to you. That is your DNA. That is and those are signs of, those are signs of spiritual union. That's a symptom of a spiritual union, which means you guys are probably soulmate / twin flame type energies, different from regular relationships.
I was told we had we were married in the past, like past life, but I was never able to have children, or he was something about never being able to give me children. And so this is his way of fixing that for me later on this life. So I gotta do something talking about it.
Yeah. This is the important things. It seems like the small things. These are the important signs that I want people to stop and take notice of in those moments, because those are the signs from energy and from spirit that we are on our path, and that this person may be that person, right? I really just want to take a moment to honor that, because it's those things when time slows down and it's like, whoa, 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 like that moment. And I'm sure we've all had maybe one or two in our lives. Those are the moments that you want to take notice of what the F is going on and who it's going on with, because that person is significant to you. That moment is significant to you. So take note of it. You know what I mean? Great point to bring up. I love that. Now, going forward with Danny's expression, we have an 8. And I've talked about the 8 before, and I'm going to go into it again, but it's a 17-8, right? It's not a straight up 8. It's not a 26-8, right? And once again, it's important. Talk about the 8. Let's break it down. For those who have followed me, you already know how it goes when we talk about the 8. The 8 is power, money, karma, risk, resilience, magic, manifestation, alchemy, trauma, ego, darkness. But that's where a lot of that power, money, karma, manifestation comes from. The embodiment, the physical embodiment of the 8, that if I personify, I always talk about Kanye Omari West. He's an 8 amplified by an 11. So we're amplifying that 8 by a master. So 8s aren't going to be that big, but it's a great example of an 8, right? Big, bold, beautiful, in your face, like doesn't care, just taking up a space, and then some, going to say his shit no matter what. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. But it's the influencer. And if you look at the shape of the 8, once again, it's all roundness. It's all whimsical, all circle. So it is beauty, but it's resilience. it's, if you knock it into the wall, it's going to bounce off. If you drop the 8 physically, it's going to bounce back, and it's going to do that quicker and higher and faster than anybody else. And the reason being is because it is so resilient. And the reason it's so resilient is because 8 was made for trauma. Talked about this in my last episode too.
For trauma.
Trauma. The 8s are, my personality number is an 8, right? So I understand that. 8s, we are supposed to transmute the trauma. We are the neutralizers of the world, okay? And that's why we go through those things. We got to feel that bullshit. We got to fucking go through that shit, right? But I believe that before we got here, we chose this life and we chose these experiences, and we said, we know this is going to be this journey and I'm going to go through some shit. I'm doing it anyway. You know what I mean? And the confirmation of the fact that you were supposed to go through that is when you manifest it, once you transmute it and it turns into something beautiful, which you have done very beautifully. You understand? Doesn't mean that the pain is going to never come again. It doesn't mean that the trauma is never going to revisit, right? It's all about learning why it's there, why it exists there, first of all, right? And to understand our tools to how to transmute it and transfer it into something beautiful, which is our job as neutralizers. We can choose to become bitter, or we can choose to become better. And my 8 be fucking with me sometimes because I can be a bitter bitch online. I'm bitching about this and bitching about that, and I gotta calm myself sometimes. I just be getting pissed off, right? But I be Kanye with it, you know? Like, I just be on my yay. Okay, but at the same time, I know that there's purpose with that, right? But I gotta transmute it more beautifully, and I recognize that within myself. But our confirmation of that is when we do manifest those beautiful things. Now, if we are able to do that with that 8, your manifestations are going to be so much bigger and more successful than anybody else, because you've got that power, money, karma. It's not a master number, but I liken the power and the energy of the 8 to a master, because that's how powerful it is, right? So the way that you do things is with power. It's very powerful. It's very influential. And I'm glad you have the 7 in your chart, because that's protecting you. The 8s can get wild. And I know you know what that means. Like, the 8s can wall out. We can wall out. You know what I mean?
I think I'm his.
Right. And that's why she's got such strong 4 in her, right? That 4s are beautiful pairings with the 8, because it's nothing but hard line, showing you where to go, redirecting you over and over again. I know you want to look at the 4. It's bouncing off in the walls of the 8. It's keeping it in line.
It's funny you say that, because when we first got together and then we made a decision to move to Florida, everything that I was doing that was wrong, she made sure that it didn't work out. Everything that I tried to go, I wanted to go this way.
Karma wise.
Just nothing was working out. Everything that I was doing was falling apart.
I don't know how I did it, but I manifested it.
And then put me on the right path, and everything has been going but up, nowhere but up.
Yeah.
You know, there's a few rough lines on the way up, but we still made it good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be up here.
Hi.
No, they all came in.
Hi, guys. That's okay. That's all right. Oh,
Can you guys go to mommy's room and play? Because we're doing a video chat, okay?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I love you.
Who is that?
Friend of mine knows.
Come here.
This
You want
is Sarah.
Say hi. Just say hi really quick.
Hi.
Say hi. Look at the camera.
Hi, buddy.
Go on. Go in mommy's room. I love you. Oh, you want to sit there? Okay. Sorry.
So cute. No worries. No worries. No worries at all. No, but I love that, because it really is. It's such truth. And, you know, this is a part of how she was built specifically for you. you know, is that's why she has such strong 4 energy, you know. So now let's move on to the personality. And by the way, with her 4s, your trauma, your karma, I'm going to call it the karma, not the trauma, because it's not 8. Your karma of those 4s, those 2 4s, prepared you to be ready for his wild and out 8. That didn't, she wasn't scared of you and that. And what may have scared most people, she was like, bet, bring it. I got you, and I'm coming. I don't even know your address, boy, and I'm coming to get you. Like she's not playing with it. You know what I mean? She's not afraid of you. She's not afraid of it. She was going to conquer this situation. She knew, like the back of her hand, that this was fated to be. And she moved accordingly, right? So that's the beautiful thing about the 4. If you're an 8 and you're having struggles in life because of your 8, I'd recommend getting with a 4. You know what I mean? Getting with a high 4, because they just balance each other out beautifully. Now here's where it gets really, really cool. Danny's personality, the perception, is the 11. Now I took the 2 last names, Danny, that we talked about before. I took both of them with the first name, right? So this is how, I'm pulling your chart. We could do like 3 different charts with your name. You know what I mean? But this is how I'm pulling this one. And this is an 11. So we have a master 11, right? The master intuitive. What this tells me is that people see you and they realize you've got really good instincts, that your intuition is really on point with a lot of things, and that there seems to be some sort of, for the lack of a better term, direct connection. There is, and this is also a part of where your love is seen, because it's not 2, but it's 2, right? So this is a part of also how we go back to showing your love for people. This is also going to be a part of that too. They see a lot of that in you. How you are seen in the world by those that you work with, fans, followers, friends, family. Is that loving father, very strong father with great instincts.
Apple.
Okay? That makes sense?
Yes, very much so. Scary, but yes.
I've been getting him used to this kind of life.
The spiritual life?
Yes.
Yes.
Stop hitting me.
Hey, boys, let's go out to mommy's room. You can take all that to mommy's room. How about that? Go on.
No.
It's okay. We will talk around it. It is no worries. All right. So let's go to Tia's personality perception number of the 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the 5 is sunshine. It's joy. This is the Tia that I like. This is my favorite part of Tia. It's my favorite side of Tia because it's the fun, like, just jovial sunshine bouncing off the walls that I see with her all the time, having fun with the kids. The part that I know that I'm channeling you, Danny, right now and saying, like, that's my favorite part of her. That's your favorite part of her, is her sunshine, her light. Yes, you love the fact that she's a good manager. Yes, you love the fact that she's keeping you in line and all. Your favorite part of her is her lights, right? And it is it's energy. It is it's movement, it's change, it's travel. And this is a big part of the fuel behind not only your relationship and your family, but of course the business. This is what's helping keep things energized. It's what's helping keep things new, and so they don't become mundane and they don't become disinteresting. You know what I mean? Like, she's keeping it fun in your life. And there's a part of that really has allowed you to not many people can get in. And it's not just a wife thing, because this is how she got in to you before she was born. This was how she was able to get past that hard 7, because she's just got such light. It just energized and broke through. Like, I don't care about your wall. I'm coming in full force, like coming in hot. That's the 5, right? Just atomic energy.
I watched her when how much she loved her family, and when I watched her how she treats my kids and our kids, that's what really did it for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just watching, just do, and it's not just holding your kids; it's the way she holds my kids. You know, the way she makes sure she goes above and beyond. Like when it comes to her family, her granddad and her mom and her brothers, it doesn't matter if she's got to crawl through glass that's on fire; she's gonna do it.
Yeah. 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 And she's that light. She's that light to everybody. You know what I mean? And it's pure joy. She wants to spread joy and sunshine. And that's how we see her. So, all right. Now, lastly, we're going to go to the heart's desires. We talked about the 8 already. And so Tia's heart's desire is the 8. Now, this is a little bit different from your expression 8, right? Her heart's desire 8 means that she's
Go on.
Come on. No.
I'm sorry.
Come on. No.
What do you want, buddy? What can I give you?
I don't want to get out.
Okay, so you have to be quiet though, okay? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, want the book? Okay.
Yes. Oh.
All right. So we talked about the 8 already, but in this particular situation with Tia's heart's desire, this is what she wants to have that influence, right? There's a part of her that with LEAL, because her last name was different before. So this changed her heart's desire into the 8. She wants to have that influence. You want to have that influence, and you want to have that manifestation. This is her wanting to manifest. And when she got married to you, when she became LEAL, that really changed her wanting in life to go to manifestation, and that started becoming an active practice with her. And she actually started believing that it could happen, and that's when the manifestation started working. Does that make sense, Tia?
Yes.
And then with you, the heart's desire, you have the same heart's desire as me, which is the 6. And the 6 is the love of home and family and traditions, rituals, and everything that surrounds the home. When I think of the 6, and particularly in your home, it is the thing. I am not a jealous person, but I will admit I am jealous of this thing in your life. And that is your wood burning stove that you do Christmas pictures by, you do the puppy pictures. That thing is like, that's a 6, right? That home, hearthy fire, warm fire when it's cold outside, soup on the stove type thing. That whole vibe of being home, being warm, being loved, comfortable, and made to be, secured and loved. So that is ultimately, even though you were scared of it, that is your biggest desire, is your family. And that you have that. You do have it. You know what I mean? You've got it. You built it. But that's your biggest desire of all, is your family, which you love most.
It was
this home is something we manifested.
One of the hardest things I think was going back to when I tried to break up with her, was because I was scared too, because I had my 2 oldest sons.
Right.
I didn't know how to react with, I'm falling in love with her, and these are my two other sons, and I had a real rough time with that. And even after that, after we got together, I still had a rough time with my kids and introducing them to her and then letting them know that I'm in love with my kids, all my kids. I love my wife, but I also love my kids. So it's hard.
We figured it out.
But we figured it out, and my kids love Tia. She loves the shit out of my kids.
Yeah.
This home, back to that, when we were in that position where I was getting him out of the things that he shouldn't have been doing. So let's go, let's move, let's back up and go, let's start life over. So we were looking for houses here in Michigan. And of course, like just the way life was, we were looking for something that was on a land contract, right? That's what we were looking for specifically. This home popped up and I was like, I love this. Look at everything. Like it was this home. And no, like, so then a month went by and then he doesn't remember me showing him this home, but then he brought it up to me. Hey, I messaged this lady. She said, let's do it. We're good to go. And then, so I had my mom come to look at it on FaceTime with me. And the first time we closed on this house was the very first time we seen it in person. The day we signed and got our keys of this home was the very first time we seen it in person. But it was the same home I showed him. Was like, I want that home so bad.
And it was even more crazy because we were in Florida and it was like February. And I told her, okay, we're going to put the house up for sale. It would probably be sold maybe by July or by the holidays.
It sold in 7 days.
Yeah. The very next day, a realtor came and was like, look, I got a buyer for your house.
Mom.
The next day after that, you got 7 days to leave.
Thank you.
Wow. But it wasn't it like, and I'm sure it was stressful at the time, but wasn't it like mind blowing? Like, whoa, this is really happening. And oh my God, it's really happening.
So COVID happened not even 12 to 14 days after we closed on this house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was just in the nick of time. All in alignment.
It's crazy how you say that everything happens for a reason. COVID happened. My kids, it was rough because they didn't want to leave Florida, but they wanted to come here. So my two oldest kids, it worked out great because since it was COVID everywhere, they were able to stay here with me and do their school online.
Wow.
And it helped all of us come together as a family.
You needed that time. It happened at the right time. That's incredible to me. Like that particular like detail is incredible to me, that somehow in your manifestations together, you were able to work within the simulation of what was happening in the world at that time for your benefit. Like that's huge. That's something you can manifest one thing. That's once, but if you can manifest within the workings of the simulation that nobody has a clue are happening or that are going to come up, and even how, even if you did know, how would you know what I mean? That is like, and that's what I'm saying. I really do. And I've always kind of sensed with Tia that she's really, really tapped in and tuned in. And maybe, girl, you and me could do some work together as far as like helping to push the spiritual awakening stuff and, teach.
There's another, did he close in on it? There's another artist that wants to come to the show. I can't disclose who it is yet, but it's still in the works and it's almost finalized. But I was dreaming about it, right? That I closed the deal. I sealed it, like, and then I woke up and our partner had messaged us. It's almost done. I almost sealed the deal. Like, it's basically, this is it. And I looked at Danny and I was like, I literally just woke up from this dream.
I'll come walking outside from outside the house and tell her something.
Uh-huh.
Before I even say it, she says it to me. I'm like, and it's every time I'll come excited. I come all excited to let her know something. Hey, look, what do you think about this? And she's telling me it before I even get to tell her.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Once you get in the algos and you're in your frequency, and especially as a couple together, this is why I want to picture people like you. It's because this is a most beautiful picture of how it works together in synchronicities and just being well aligned. So Tia is a super manifester. I know that, and I see it in your lives too. I think that Tia, honestly, we should talk about. I want you to come on again, both of you, if you want. But we should do some pods soon about manifestation and how that works, and just what you know about it and all of that. Because let's teach the world how to do this. Let's help the world become better, and share our stories and how we learned and became better and manifested the wonderful things in our lives. To help others to do the same. So
I feel like diet and just the letting it come to me thing. helps because if I'm focused on it or want it to, like, just thinking about it too much, it doesn't happen. So if I let things kind of go at ease and I'm like not thinking about it and I'm relaxed and I'm actually getting sleep and my diet's a little bit better, then that's when things start to happen a little bit better. I think the same with you. We're recently on a weight loss journey together and we've felt really good this past week, and things have been actually a little bit better for us too that way. So
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love it. That's great stuff. And yeah, you guys just keep doing your thing. You're killing it out there. Thank you so much for your time and your love and your energy and everything that you do. I know that we're just going to continue to see wonderful things from your family and your business and just the fun, positive, high to the world. So congratulations to the both of you. Danny, my longtime friend, one of my longest time friends ever. Man, brother, just kudos to you and your life. I love you.
You too. I see you. I see you glowing over there. I see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have to bring up one more thing. When you did my reading last time, you brought up the number 6. You kept drawing the number 6, right? Well, that's his heart's desire. You just said that. And then I was like, that 6 you brought up last time, and I always remembered that number 6. Well, we have a family of we have 6 kids, and then his heart desire is 6. So that was pretty neat that you were spot on about that too.
And it just goes to show how tapped in you are still, So I would love to see, maybe I'm just going to see this in my vision, but may I claim it in words, that you, Tia, start to, show people your super manifestation and talk about that. I think it's important. I think you're a to do it. And you're just transparency with the world and how you love your life and you love your kids and you own your life. You own your story. It's beautiful. It's one was the time at that moment. It's beautiful. It needs to be shared with the world. So I encourage you to do that, sister. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I love you. We'll do this again sometime soon.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.
So cute.
My name's Tia LEAL. I've known Sarah for a few years now because she went to school with my husband Danny. I did not know about the numerology until I spoke with Sarah. I 10 out of 10 recommend her, and the experience with the video was amazing, and I definitely recommend doing the podcast with her.